What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is my review for the TV series The Idol. So The Idol is a TV show that is on HBO, 5 episodes long. As of filming this video, we don't yet know if it's going to be renewed, canceled, and if it is canceled, if it's going to be taken over by another network. We don't know just yet, but what we do know is that the premise for the show, in case you don't know, it is about a pop star named Jocelyn, played by Lily Rose Depp. She's a pop star that is recovering from an unfortunate nervous breakdown, and at the same time, she meets a nightclub owner played by the Weeknd. His name is Tedros, and together they create a relationship, and lo and behold, we have the TV show. So, where do I begin with this TV show? Because I'm just going to say this bluntly as possible. I really wasn't looking forward to talking about this show, because this is a show that you go online and there's just so much discourse about the show to death. And it just really brings about something that, for me, is quite frustrating, because I'm someone that looks at film and TV shows and believes that it's not an all or nothing mentality where it's like you either love something or you hate something. I don't view things as that. I really don't. In fact, if you look at my Letterboxd, a lot of times there's a lot of stuff in the middle. That's fine. That's art. And sometimes you can have something in the middle that does bring about thoughts and everything. And that's something that I think is also important to bring about in terms of light. But here's the thing. The Idol is a TV show that is very turbulent in terms of behind the scenes. I mean, here's the thing. Back in April of 2022, we heard the news that Amy Seimetz left the project. She was the original director, and she filmed, it was 90%, I believe, of the TV show when she just left. And we don't know 100% why. There's some speculation that it could have been because she wanted the female gaze, and that apparently the Weeknd didn't want the female gaze in the show, so she left, and then the Weeknd was like, hey, Sam Levinson, you want to direct? Again, speculation, we don't actually know 100%, but I will say this in terms of HBO, it's like, bro, like, when you hear in the news about a TV show or a movie that has it where there is so much turbulent behind the scenes, like, hey, reshoots and everything. Like, when you hear reshoots, a lot of times people don't understand that reshoots are the norm. But when you have it where it's something like Solo or like The Idol, where it's like 70 plus in terms of percentage, yeah, that's something that's an issue that is going to be where you want to choose a safe director. That's why Solo chose Ron Howard and it wasn't as turbulent. So HBO, you hired Sam Levinson to direct The Idol, and it's like, bro, Sam Levinson is like the very definition of controversial. Like, that should be his middle name, Sam Controversial Levinson. And I'm saying that as someone that does respect him as a filmmaker, because here's the thing. My relationship with Sam Levinson's work is this. 2018 came around, I saw Assassination Nation, one of the few people that saw it in theaters, and I was like, yo, this is a really good film. I will defend this show this movie until the end. This is a really, really strong movie. Why isn't anyone talking about this? And then I read online that people were talking about it and it was very mixed. I get it. A couple years later, it turns around. We then get Euphoria, season 1. Really good. Pretty much everyone beloved it, but there were some people that weren't as big of a fan. But then the pandemic happened. 2020 came around, Malcolm Marie happened, and Malcolm Marie was a movie on Netflix that there were signs of brilliance for sure, but there were also elements where it was like, ooh, this isn't that good. This is something that I feel quite mixed about. And then Euphoria Season 2 happened a couple years later, and it was the same thing. Euphoria Season 2, there were elements that were brilliant. There were some episodes that were quite good, but then there weren't some episodes that were good, and then there were also elements where it was like, ooh, this is kind of showing the flaws. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, saying all of that, Sam Levinson is a director that The Idol, this isn't a Sam Levinson show for better or for worse. There are elements that are quite brilliant. I think the cinematography is outstanding. I think that the soundtrack is outstanding too. And I'm saying that as someone that usually prefers scores, which is, instrumental music and not, lyrical based, as opposed to soundtrack, which is, lyrical based. But the lyrical music, the soundtrack of this show is just, it's great. It works so well with the cinematography. You have the filmic nature of the look. The color grading really, really works. The lighting, the camera angles, holy cow, the camera angles are really good. They work really well at establishing what Sam Levinson wants to get across in a way where basically we as audience members are fly on the wall. It's up for us to interpret this show scene by scene, and that's something I greatly respect. But here's the thing. Then you go to the acting, and the acting by Lily Rose Depp is incredible. She does an incredible job at depicting someone that, has so many emotions. We see that. And at the same time, there are other emotions that we don't really fully see at first, but then towards the end, we do. And that's something that also very few actors can pull off, but she did pull off in a way that I thought worked quite well. And there are other actresses that also do a great job. Rachel Sennett, who many of you will know from Shiva Baby, she did a great job. She has a smaller role, but it's still very impactful. And her role I thought was effective because she doesn't have much dialogue, but there are so many times where you'll just see a look that she gives, and it says so much more than what we as audience members would need in terms of dialogue. It works so well. But here's the thing. Then we go into the mixed to negative elements, and we have the Weeknd. The Weeknd, there are sometimes, specifically episode 4 and 5, where I will say I did think that he did a good job. But a lot of the time, I just wasn't a fan of his performance. I thought that it really didn't work. It felt a lot of times that he was trying too hard, and it was something that just left me very frustrated because I feel like if this was a different actor, it could have been such a different experience in terms of that performance. But as it stands, it's something that really sticks out like a sore thumb because you have a cast surrounding him that is just at their A game, that all do a really good job. The other thing is there is some expository dialogue, specifically in like episode 5, that does stick out where it's like, really? Because there were so many times where the visuals do the heavy lifting and the visual storytelling is good. The other thing I wanted to mention in terms of the negatives is this. Episode 2 and 3 is very heavy focused on the romance. But the thing is this, the romance feels quite repetitive. Very, very repetitive. It gets dull after a while. It really does. And especially in retrospect, it's like, okay, that's pretty much been established in episode 1 almost. Like everything you see in 2 and 3 just kind of feels like a lesser version of what you saw in episode 1. So it's just like, what the heck? So I would argue that this show could have easily been like a movie, and I think it would have been quite good, quite effective, honestly. Because as it stands, there's a lot of fat to trim. And then the other thing is this, is that this is the show that because it is HBO, because of all the turbulent behind the scenes, the creative overhaul and everything, it brings about a lot of controversy. And I feel like this is a show that many years from now, I feel like it might find an audience. I do, because again, there are some elements in the show that do bring about thought-provoking elements that I thought worked, such as episode 4 and 5. Because I'm not going to lie, and you can ask my friends this, episodes 1, 2 to 3, I said to myself, yeah, I can definitely see why some people really hate the show. Like, I didn't hate it at that point, but I was like, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. But then episode 4 and 5 happened, and I just found myself feeling the complete opposite. I was like, no, these elements are quite good. It's just the journey of getting to episode 4 or 5 is very much so messy, especially in terms of the pacing. But I just, again, can't help myself but be enthralled by everything that happened in terms of the story. The elements are there. The pieces of the puzzle are there to make an effective, TV show, or in my case, my theory of a movie. But at the end of the day, this isn't a movie. This is a TV show. And as it stands, I feel quite mixed about it. I understand totally why some people would hate the show. I do. It's something that is a bumpy ride for both viewers in terms of like how some of the content is hard to watch. But I also do respect that Sam Levinson a lot of times does have it where, he uses the camera as a way to feel like we as audience members are a fly on the wall. And that's something I respect because it gives us as audience members our own ability to try to, come to terms with what we're witnessing and how to react to it. And that's something, again, I think Sam Levinson does quite well. And wrapping up this review, I'll say this. Feeling quite mixed about Sam Levinson, I decided yesterday, actually, to rewatch Assassination Nation because I hadn't seen it in 5 years. And I rewatched it, and yeah, I still really like it. In fact, I would say that I liked it even more. I think that provides really strong argument as to why he's such a good director when given the right material. But I do feel like over time he's become a lesser version of himself. But since Assassination Nation, he's always been about controversy. It's one of those things where he tackles topics where that's the norm. It's going to bring about discussion. It's going to bring about, sides like, lines and how some people are going to like it, some people are going to hate it, and then people in the middle. Not as much, but that's how some people are. For me, like I said, The Idol, I feel quite mixed about it. It's more in lines of, Euphoria Season 2 and Malcolm and Marie, where it's like I see some brilliant elements. I really do. But then there are other elements where it's like, what the heck were you thinking? Like, really? Come on now. So overall, I feel mixed about it. I know some of you might have wanted me to just hate on the show. I can't in good consciousness because it's something that I don't hate it. But anyways, The Idol Season 1, I personally would be giving a But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on if you liked The Idol, if you hated The Idol, or if you were like me and felt mixed about it. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll also just say this. I know that there were rumors that it was going to be 6 episodes, and then HBO was like, no, we're canceling it. We're canceling it right before the last episode, so the last episode is not going to air. It's not true. What actually happened was originally when Amy Seimetz was the director, it was supposed to be 6 episodes. But when Sam Levinson took over and he directed and everything, it ended up being 5 episodes. So there's no missing episode. Just throwing that out there. But anyways, again, guys, let me know your thoughts on The Idol. If you liked it, if you didn't. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow me down Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.